Everyone is obsessed with speed in sports, and the 40-yard dash time is one of the most important and most polarizing topics in college football and pre-draft processes every year. So today I thought I would appeal to that crowd and talk about the 10 fastest draft prospects for the 2021 NFL Draft. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today, as we're going to quickly go through the 10 fastest players in this year's draft, tell their story, and what makes them such dynamic players. But first, if you love college football, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give the video a like if you want to support what I'm doing here on YouTube, suggest another topic I could do next, and turn on post notifications so you never miss when I upload. Now let's get started. At number 10, we have Fehoko out of Stanford. It is a name that few of us are familiar with, yet that could change quite soon. He grew up around the Salt Lake area and went to Brighton High School. He was a highly evaluated prospect, with 24/7 Sports considering him a 4-star recruit, and he was the 170th best player in the country. He decided to take his talents to Stanford, picking them over USC and Clemson. Fehoko gained a national recognition for his play at the high school level, and it was time to see if he would translate to the Power 5 level. He was an immediate contributor to the Stanford offense, playing in their last 4 games in order to maintain his eligibility. They went 4-0 in those games, and he made small contributions to help the offense roll. He took a leap between his freshman and sophomore year, gaining strength and increasing his knowledge of the offense. The results were visible on the gridiron, as he had 24 catches and 6 touchdowns. His athleticism was undeniable, and few coaches noticed. And finally, he would get some recognition as he won Pac-12 Freshman of the Week in a game against number 15 Washington. During the 2020 season, he continued to impress with his dynamic skill set, having 37 catches and 3 touchdowns, and was one of Davis Mills' top targets. He was named All Pac-12 First Team for his effort and decided to enter his name into the draft. He's considered a late-round sleeper and has tremendous upside as a prospect. His athleticism jumps off the page, and with a 40-yard dash time of 4.37, he has blazing speed. I think Fehoko could be taken in the 5th round in this year's draft and could be a name that actually does something in the NFL. And number 9 is a guy we've all heard of, Jaycee Horn. The son of an NFL player, he spent the majority of the 2020 season terrorizing quarterbacks and receivers across the SEC. Jaycee was a star from the beginning and continued to develop into a blue-chip recruit by the time he reached high school. 24/7 Sports rated him as the number 209 player in the country and the 22nd best corner. He committed to the Gamecocks over SEC powers Alabama and Tennessee, and he was going to play immediately. He was an immediate contributor for the Gamecocks, as he had 45 tackles and 10 starts as a true freshman. He continued to build on his early successes, growing into an even better defender by his sophomore year. By the time 2020 came around, Horn was one of the best players on the Gamecocks roster, and he backed it up on the field, and he was a second-team All-SEC player for his excellent play. He decided to declare for the draft following his junior year and ran a 4.37 40 time as well, and he is generating serious attention as a high-level draft pick. I recently saw a graphic about how he against the SEC's best receivers, and he has done really well, and a lot of them didn't have very good games when they matched up with Horn. He has the potential to be a superstar at the next level, and I'm excited to see what he brings to an NFL roster next season. At number 8, we have Ambry out of Michigan. He's not as well known as many on this list, and his team's lack of success is partially to blame. He hails from Detroit, Michigan, and was one of the most highly touted prospects from his area. 24/7 Sports listed him as the 90th best player in the country and the 2nd best player in the state of Michigan. In 2016, he decided to stay home and committed to the Wolverines over the Michigan State Spartans, Arizona Wildcats, and Penn State Nittany Lions. He played in 13 games as a freshman and mostly did kickoff returns and played in special teams coverage situations. He showed flashes of the player he could become, and the stage was set for a big sophomore campaign. Thomas would deliver as he played another 13 games for the Wolverines, making his impact felt on the field. His athleticism enabled him to be a versatile piece for the Wolverines, and he was primed to have a great junior year. Thomas finished his junior campaign with 38 tackles and was the team's most valuable player. Thomas began to receive NFL buzz after the season, and he decided to opt out of the 2020 campaign in order to focus on the 21 draft. I think Thomas can contribute to a defense at the next level, but his lack of recent film may be concerning to some. After posting a 4.37 40, many of those concerns can be put to rest. Personally, I think there is a lot of risk with Thomas, but he has a high ceiling and can excel in the right situation. Elijah Moore is one of the better-known prospects on this list, as he has spent the last 3 years slashing through some of the SEC's best defenses. Moore was a consistent deep threat each and every play, and opposing teams knew it. He was a highly touted recruit before his time with the Rebels, as he was ranked 160th in the ESPN 300 and a 4-star recruit overall. Many don't know it, but he was actually originally committed to Georgia before he would flip to the Rebels. He became an immediate contributor for Ole Miss, and with his speed and dynamic athleticism, he contributed early. Moore played in every game as a freshman, having 36 catches for the Rebels. He built off his great freshman campaign to deliver a stellar sophomore campaign, catching 67 passes for more than 850 yards. Moore continued to produce as a junior, as he secured 86 catches for 1,193 yards in a shortened year. After this insane production, he had all the attention of NFL scouts. While he is undersized at 5'9", Moore makes up for his size with tremendous athleticism. His 40-yard dash time is around 4.35, making him one of the quickest at his position. I see quite a bit of upside with Moore, and I think he could contribute to an NFL team as a slot receiver and a kick returner. Moore has the production to back up his hype, and an NFL team is going to benefit from his services. At number 6, we have Racey McMath out of LSU. He's a relatively unknown prospect heading into the 2021 draft, as he hails from New Orleans, Louisiana, and attended Edna Karr High School. That school consistently puts out top-notch quality football recruits, and McMath is no different. He was rated as a 3-star prospect coming out of high school and the 22nd best player in the state of Louisiana. He decided to stay local and made his commitment to LSU on January 20th, 2017. McMath has contributed to the Tigers in different roles across his past 4 years, mostly as a return specialist and catching some passes. He finished his Tiger career at 522 yards and 4 touchdowns and decided to take his talents to the 2021 NFL Draft. Unfortunately, he was pegged as the next big thing going into the 2020 season, but instead, true freshman Kayshon Boutte kind of took his spot. McMath ran a 4.34 40-yard dash, and teams took notice. Teams see a fast, athletic downfield threat who has the potential to make plays at the next level. Teams do question his lack of production though, as 500 yards in 4 years isn't exactly exceptional, but I think that can be attributed to the exceptionally deep LSU wide receiver room. And this is the kind of guy I could see as a 5th or 6th option on an NFL team who has one of those random breakout fantasy weeks. I think McMath is likely to be drafted in the 7th round and sign with an organization after the draft. At number 5, we have another LSU player in Kary Vincent Jr. He's been one of the more well-known defensive backs in the NCAA over the past few years. His play has helped LSU consistently field quality defenses and make it difficult for opponents to throw the ball. Vincent was evaluated as a 4-star prospect by 24/7 Sports and ranked as the 13th overall corner in the country. His dad was a wide receiver for Texas A&M back in the day, and many figured he would follow in his dad's footsteps and commit to the Aggies, but he did not. He ended up going a different route and committed to LSU in July of 2016. He had an immediate impact for the Tigers, appearing in 11 games and recording an interception. He built off a solid freshman season to deliver an impressive sophomore campaign, recording 40 tackles and helping the Tigers on the defensive side of the ball. Vincent was a huge part of LSU's 2019 championship run during his junior year, as he had 47 tackles and 4 picks. His blazing speed enables him to close gaps quickly, and his 4.33 40-yard time has gained notice of NFL scouts. Vincent heard the buzz and decided to opt out of the 2020 season and focus on the draft. His smaller stature may scare some teams off, but I think Vincent will be taken fairly early in this year's draft and continue LSU's tradition of successful defensive backs in the NFL. At number 4, we have Shi Smith out of South Carolina. He is a wide receiver hailing from the town of Union, South Carolina, and was rated as a 4-star prospect coming out of high school and the 2nd best player in the Palmetto State. He decided to stay local and take his talents to the Gamecocks, committing to South Carolina over Alabama. Smith contributed immediately as a true freshman, playing in 12 games, catching 29 passes for 400 yards. Smith continued to progress as a player in the South Carolina program and had big things ahead of him down the line. He caught 45 passes for nearly 700 yards as a sophomore, but was sadly set back by an injury during his junior season. Smith rebounded strongly as a senior during the 2020 campaign, having 57 catches for 633 yards, despite not having good quarterback play and poor on-the-field results. He was also a team captain. After a strong showing across his collegiate career, he decided to take the next step and enter the 2021 NFL Draft. Many teams are intrigued by Smith's athleticism, with some considering using him in the return game. He kind of reminds me of Devin Duvernay from Texas. With a sub 4.4 40 time, Smith helped solidify his reputation as a dynamic athlete who can contribute multiple facets of the game. I think Smith will be a hit in the NFL and will likely make meaningful catches within 2 or 3 years. At number 3, we have Eric Stokes out of Georgia. He's a cornerback prospect known for his speed and athleticism. Stokes was, believe it or not highly recruited, as he was only a 3-star player and the number 66 overall prospect in the state. He committed to the Bulldogs on February 1st, 2017, and obviously Kirby Smart saw something in him. He played in 13 games during his freshman year and made 20 tackles, earning the recognition of the Bulldogs staff as a future key player on the defensive side of the ball. His blazing speed enabled him to close gaps, and he's a difference maker for the Bulldogs. His junior campaign in 2020 was one of the best in the country, with Stokes recording 4 picks, 20 tackles, and 4 pass breakups. Opposing coaches took notice, and he was awarded to the first team All-SEC for his efforts during the shortened season. Stokes decided to declare for the NFL Draft after the year, and many teams took notice. Stokes is likely a 2nd-round pick due to his speed and athleticism, and his 4.29 40-yard dash time reinforced this evaluation. I think Stokes could start pretty much right away, and some team at the next level will be improved by the addition of him. And number 2, we have one of the most dynamic players in all of college football, and one of my favorite players of all time, Rondale Moore. Hailing from Louisville, Kentucky, Rondale Moore went to Trinity Catholic High School and originally committed to the Texas Longhorns. Eventually, he would back off that commitment though and commit to Jeff Brom, who went to his high school back in the day, and the Purdue Boilermakers during the Army All-American game. He contributed immediately for the Boilermakers and was one of the best players in the country, as he was the first true freshman consensus All-American in Big Ten history. He continued his dynamic play, becoming one of the most exciting players in all of college football by the time his career was done. Unfortunately, he didn't play a whole lot though. He finished his career at Purdue with 17 touchdowns in 20 games played, and will go down as one of the best players in Purdue history, and in my opinion, he's the biggest what-if in school history. He got injured his 4th game into his sophomore year and barely played in 2020, so when he decided to enter the draft after the 2020 season, he's one of the more intriguing prospects because a lot of people forgot about him, and there are a lot of concerns. He's kind of short, but he has game-breaking speed as he ran a 4.29 40. He also has the athleticism to extend plays really well, and a lot of people compare him to Darren Sproles. Moore will excel in the slot at the next level. He'll be a nightmare matchup in the NFL for linebackers, and he's tough to bring down. Multiple teams are very interested in Moore, and I think he's likely a late first-round pick, as his skill set enables him to contribute immediately at the next level. Even in a loaded receiver class, Moore's talents are still amongst the best in the nation. I think Rondale Moore is a name we're going to be hearing on Sundays for years to come, but his durability is his biggest question mark. Finally, we have number 1, and this is a guy I've been hearing about for a long time, and that's Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn. He's best known for his absurd speed on the football field, and he hails from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He played at the same high school as Patrick Surtain. Schwartz was rated as a 4-star prospect by 24/7 Sports, and the 28th best player from the state of Florida. He decided to take his talents to Auburn, choosing them over Alabama and Florida. He was an immediate contributor for the Tigers as a true freshman, scoring 7 touchdowns during the 2018 season. He suffered an injury during his sophomore year, and yet still produced at a fairly high level, scoring 3 touchdowns for the Tigers. He continued to contribute as a junior, and many NFL teams were fawning over his extreme athleticism. Schwartz declared for the 2021 NFL Draft after the 2020 campaign, and he ran a 4.26 40-yard dash time to boost his stock. Teams have taken notice, and Schwartz is likely to hear his name called in the draft. Most projections have him as a mid-3rd to 4th round pick, and his distinction as the fastest player in college football will definitely help. I think Schwartz will definitely be a boom or bust type player, kind of reminds me of John Ross, and may even return kicks in the future. So yeah, those are the top 10 fastest players in the 2021 NFL Draft, and let me know what you think. Who out of these guys will be a bust, and who out of these guys will be a boom? Let me know another topic or series like this I could take a look at next. Hit that like button if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out all my other videos on the end screen, including my video about the top 10 quarterbacks in the 2022 recruiting class. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.